Hello everybody, Cow Kings here with another fantastic and exciting video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Dorian and power scaling him, one of the death row inmates. One thing that I think people sleep on a lot is this right here, where Dorian is hung for over 10 minutes and yet still survives, shows no long-term damage. Hell, doesn't even look like it affected the dude at all. So, we get to the next scene, and Dorian begins to fight Katsumi. And it's not even close. Starts well on him, choking him. Katsumi gets in a few good hits, feeling himself, and starts getting a little arrogant. But not too shortly after, Dorian hits him with the board. And not only is he a good fighter, but environmentally, he's great with the attacks. From using Katsumi's own belt against him, to knowing exactly where that board was, his environmental awareness is amazing. So, right after clapping Katsumi's cheeks, Retsu approaches Dorian as he's trying to leave. Says, "Nah, homie, you ain't about to go anywhere. We fighting." Dorian says, "No, fam, not happening." Starts crying and almost gets Retsu. Uses a hair and blows it right at him. Very deceitful and cunning. Afterwards, Retsu kicks him, and Dorian uses gasoline along with the lighter, or whatever, to combust that. Alcohol, sorry. And then Dorian makes his escape, which shows Dorian always has an exit plan in case shit hits the fan. The next fight we see is Doppo versus Dorian. And Doppo uses a sneak attack to land the first blow. Dorian responds in kind with flames. Now, it's important to note that Doppo has the perfect block. Nobody else does. So, you'd either have to dodge this, or if you got hit with this and you didn't have an ability to block this, you'd be fucked. You're catching on fire. You're at least taking some sort of damage, if not dying. Next thing we know, Dorian uses wire. And this is another sign of Dorian's cunningness. He allowed himself to be hit, so that way, as Doppo is distracted, he uses the piano wire, as Doppo is close enough, far closer than he should be, pretty much within the danger zone of where he can get cut. And as a result, Doppo loses his hand. As it turns out, though, Doppo is a fucking badass and uses that arm, that nub now, to hit Dorian. However, this was more or less a way for him to escape. He fled the scene, making it 1-0 in favor of Dorian. On to the next battle. Dorian comes prepped with a fluid in his hand. And he walks in fighting all these people. He knows it's a full house and still walks in. It should be mentioned, credit to Dorian, that he not only snuck in, but he fought all those guards outside, all without making a loud enough noise for any of those trained martial artists who are trained to fight anywhere, anytime, and detect danger, all without them being able to notice there was an intruder. So as far as stealth goes, Dorian is top of the food chain. A massive durability feat is when Dorian is literally lit on fire and survives and not only survives, but continues to fight all these master martial artists. Kato then proceeds to cut off the ear of Dorian, which does nothing but really annoy Dorian and shock him. Doppo then lands a nice sidekick to what appears to be either his liver or kidney. Forgive me for not knowing which side they're both on. Dorian, clever as always, has come prepared and uses some piano wire that would have killed both Kato and Katsumi had Doppo not saved them. The mad lad then spits up a fucking grenade, and once again, a testament to his ability to escapes again. This time, instead of using fire, what he did with Retsu, uses a fucking grenade. So we should keep in mind that he just came over here to taste defeat. Now, whether or not he knew about this beforehand or afterwards, Dorian has a great awareness and memory of where hiding spots are in bunkers. He knew of this bunker that was down here and knew exactly how to get there, where he was, etc. What this tells me is he has a means of hiding away and going somewhere when he needs to rest and recuperate, something the other prisoners haven't even seemed to factor in. Dorian also has plenty of medical supplies that he can use to patch himself up, as well as weaponry to give himself the extra hand and advantage, showing again more prep time and more diversity in his arsenal versus some of the other prisoners. Dorian also mentions not to show your best hand in front of the enemy if possible, so they don't know all your tricks. Well, we see his best hand when he fights Kato in the form of hypnosis, showing his ability to fight an opponent on a psychological basis. He knew what type of personality Kato had. He knew the basis that all humans' will desires them to win. And he uses that will, that desire to win, to make a hypnotic suggestion and cause Kato to fight an imaginary version of himself, thereby not only tricking him, but expending stamina and his cardio on an imaginary opponent. Whereas Dorian can just stand there, do whatever he wants, maybe take a walk or beat the fuck out of him, as he does here after he ends the hypnosis. Kato gets finished off with the piano wire. He really stood no chance at all, and yet didn't know it until it was already too late. One thing Dorian didn't factor in was 1 million Shinshinkai students were going to go after him once he did this to Kato. So, they bring him to a destination, and one of these side character punching bags proceeds to try to fight Dorian. As you can see, there's no hope to it. Dorian's not fazed at all. He fully is aware that these people are going to try to fight him one-on-one based on their principles, their morals, and their practice, showing his awareness of other martial arts schools, their teachings, and of his opponent's psychological basis behind fighting. So Dorian thrashes our boy here and just proceeds ahead inside. Another cool feat that we can see is Dorian, when he runs from Suido to the roller coaster, is that Suido is running 100 meters in 11 seconds. Now, for those who don't know, the world record for the 100 meter is held by Usain Bolt at 9.58 seconds, which shows that Dorian's speed is fucking incredible. Dorian proceeds to fight Sweeto on a roller coaster. Now, it just so happened that Sweeto had a particular stance to deal with this type of situation. However, it should be noted that almost no martial artist is going to be prepared for such a specific situation as fighting on a roller coaster. Once again, showing Dorian's incredible ability to use his environment to his advantage. So Dorian pretty much spears him off the edge of the roller coaster, and they fall to seemingly their deaths. However, Dorian pumps the brakes, uses his quick thinking, his piano wire, to break his fall. Then, right after this, Doppo, Katsumi, and Retsu approaches him. And so begins Doppo versus Dorian round 2. Dorian's durability is incredible. As mentioned by Doppo, who says straight up, "Hey, I hit you full force, and yet here you are standing." It should be mentioned that Doppo has slain tigers just by hitting them before. So it's clear that Doppo does not hit soft. He is a hard hitter. He is a knockout artist. Doppo throws rocks at both Katsumi and Dorian. And as we can see, Dorian does much better than Katsumi. Doppo gets placed under hypnosis against Dorian, and it's looking like it's about to be game over. However, as explained, Doppo has fought thousands of battles, and as such, the image that's created of the hypnosis Dorian and the real Dorian are no different. Dorian clearly loses this fight and is terrified, along with Kato approaching him. He shouts out, "I accept my defeat," making this 2 matches and now 1-1. Dorian, once again, however, has backup plans and has all types of gadgets. As we can see here, he happens to have an explosive device in his hand. Once again, showing the intelligence of Dorian. During his short time here and meeting Doppo, he learns of the location of where Doppo is, learns where his wife lives and himself. And as such, he goes there, kidnaps his wife presumably, and this causes Doppo to go into a blind fury, a rage. And as he turns around, boom, that's when Dorian hits Doppo with the explosive device. Fighting is fighting. It can happen anywhere, anytime. And as such, Dorian wins this fight, making it now 2-1 in favor of Dorian. Unfortunately for Dorian, who again credits his durability, jumped out from the window and proceeded to immediately fight right after the fight where his ribs were fucked up and his face and everything. Now he has a fucked up hand as well. Proceeds to try to fight Retsukayo in his current condition. And as we can see, it does not go well for Homeboy. Dorian gets fucked up. But it should also be mentioned here that this is exactly what all the prisoners were looking for, was defeat. So in conclusion, how strong was Dorian? Well, I think there's no doubt in saying that Dorian was by far the strongest of the prisoners. But not only that, he was the smartest. I don't know of any of the other prisoners who could get away with jumping into the enemy camp like he did. And not only escaping once, but twice. He did this twice. Think about that. And then his ability to know exactly where the bunker was, his ability to use medical devices and first aid to heal himself, his ability to use different tools, his ability to prepare, his ability to know where the opponents live, combined with psychology, hypnosis, and using his environment, makes Dopo not only the most dangerous, but most intelligent of all the prisoners out of the death row inmates.